Hello everyone. I wanted to talk for a minute about feelings and emotion. Um, this was sparked my curiosity by a show I watched called Catfish on MTV, and if you've never heard of it, the premise is there are these two guys who go all over the country to help people resolve their beliefs, their thoughts towards someone that they're dating or interested in online. And these people they've never met, but they have these really strong feelings for them. And 9 times out of 10, it ends disastrously, and it's really sad because they're usually super uber in love with the person until they find out they've been lying, and then it's over. They move on. But they're so serious in the beginning. But as soon as they find out how they look, it's pretty much over, because it's usually about looks. That's most of the time what the problem is. They send them pictures of models and say, this is me. And you know, it's really amazing to me on a sidebar that it's even possible at this point in time to lie so thoroughly about who you are. 10 years ago, my group of friends online, it wasn't as common to have camera phones or webcams. The only people who really had that were people who were in the sphere of online chatting and had friends everywhere or family. You know, most people didn't, and it's become a lot more accessible nowadays to have multiple pictures of yourself. I mean, to be much more, you know, user-friendly as far as digital earmarks of yourself, so to speak. But you know, now people are still doing it, and that's crazy to me. You know, I had friends who lied about their ethnicity, their age, their gender, what they do for a living, where they live, what their economic status was. You know, it's crazy what some people would lie about. Most of the time it was age, and it makes me laugh now because I was the only one who didn't, well, I wasn't the only one, but it never occurred to me to lie about anything, which I don't know if that was me being naive and thinking, oh, you know, I can be myself, or if it was just me not thinking, hey, I could lie about some things and, you know, make people believe things. But it never even occurred to me, and I had several friends who lied about their age, and I always was like the baby of my group online, but in reality, I was older than like half of them, and so that was kind of a weird moment for me. But it was easier to lie. The technology was not in everyone's hands like it is. So you could say these people on the show, I mean, it boggles my mind that this can happen, but you know, there's, I would say over 90% of the time, it's people who are super insecure about the way they look. And so they send out these pictures, and they always say, you know, the picture isn't right, but everything else was real. So you can take that in two different ways as far as feelings go. You can say, well, you know, obviously looks matter a lot more than people think that they do, which is why when they see how they really look, it doesn't matter what was going on for them here. It's here that's not the same, and here, and so on. But the other way you would take that is, well, you lied about how you look. What else have you lied about? That means you're prone to dishonesty. But it does make you wonder, really, how far the looks matter at that point. Because if everything else was true, are the looks that important if you connected here? But I think that the answer is yes, looks are more important than people want to admit. And that can be very difficult when you're trying to get to know someone, because a lot of times, whether they want to admit it or not, if they showed them the real picture and told them who they really were from the beginning, then they wouldn't have been interested in the first place. And it could have been a really good person that they got to know, but they wouldn't have got to know them because of how they looked. At the same token, would you really want to be with someone who didn't care for the way you looked in the first place? Probably not. Especially since you know eventually that your real looks will come out. And, you know, when you're first in a new relationship with someone, and this is how I feel that this is still happening, this catfish, you know, situation is still able to happen at all, is when you first start dating someone, the first few months, chemically, when you're in love, they're equal to someone who is mentally unstable, like psychotic, crazy. The chemicals are very, very similar. So love does make you do some crazy things, because you are kind of crazy when you're in love, at least in the beginning. And so human emotion is such a wildly complex thing. You can have feelings for someone who has absolutely no feelings for you. You can be totally in love with someone who is totally in love with you. And someone can be totally in love with you and you feel absolutely nothing. Like, nothing. And it's such a conundrum, because the multiple layers that can come out of feelings and how they work in the world and how they treat you versus you treating other people, it's so complex. But so many unfortunate situations can arise from that, from feelings that should not be that big of a deal, but they so are, because even if you have feelings for someone or someone has feelings for you, there can easily be a lot of awkwardness and tension, because you don't know if you should say it, or you don't know if they're going to say it, or you're just going to be in this weird limbo forever. But they make you do very crazy things, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no real good way to know why you like someone or why you don't, or how someone will react, or how they won't, you know, compared to how you look. I mean, it's so multifaceted, but it's definitely good not to lie about what you look like, or anything really. Of course, it's not good to lie. It's good to be honest, because eventually it will all come out. So if there's any lesson in all this, eventually everything will come out that you're trying to lie about, or have lied about, or plan to lie about. There's no real good reason to continue to lie to someone, because it's really it's not gonna work out. There are the very rare cases it does, but it's so rare that I wouldn't count on it. So I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a catfish sort of situation? Have you been the catfish? Are you kind of in a situation like that now? That would be kind of sad. I hope not. But it's not too unbelievable, because when you start having feelings for someone, you can do some interesting things, and you'll believe some interesting things. But eventually, no matter if you've got someone hooked or you're hooked by someone, eventually you will start to see the real thing, at least in your head. So tell me in the comments below about a time or someone or something that you've heard of that's crazy like this, because these stories, they really boggle my mind. They're funny. But anyway, have a fabulous day, and I will get back to making more regular videos. I've been so distracted lately with my cats and work and this other side project I'm doing outside of work. But getting my priorities back together. So have a fantastic day.